This is him, El Mencho. Okay, they claim this is a picture of him, and there's very few pictures of this guy, but there was a $50 million reward for the capture of El Mencho. Okay, now people are speculating if this has been paid out, but if you guys actually do look into how the flyer was set up, it was says for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of El Mencho. And what people don't realize about a lot of these like reward things, if your information is bullshit, they ain't paying you. Now, granted, this guy got killed, which means technically he died an innocent man. That's how it works in the United States. I'm gonna give you a quick, overview again, but I'm gonna highlight some of the differences between, him and other people. But I want to make this make sense to y'all. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this quickly, but it takes time. So this guy El Mencho, we talked about him before. An operation went down, I believe, about a week ago or so, where the Mexican military knew where he was. They claimed that they tracked him down through a lover, and they tried to arrest him. While trying to arrest him, they had a firefight. They're saying that the gun battle lasted for a pretty long time. When they did get a chance to kind of snatch him out of there, they also did shoot him. And he was kind of riddled with bullets, but he was still alive. They threw him on a helicopter. They tried to get him to Mexico City to get him some medical care. However, they claim he died while he was on the helicopter. The man known as Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, a.k.a. El Mencho, has been killed. A lot of people are finding out about him in post. They're realizing that the type of mystique around him, there's going to be much movies and series made about him, is pretty much at the level of El Chapo, if not past it. This guy is a really interesting figure. There's some similarities between him and El Chapo, but there's a lot of differences. Some of the differences include, like, the similarities, obviously, they're drug dealers, huge drug dealers, but the differences include that while El Chapo eventually he wasn't a flashy guy necessarily, but he kind of embraced that villain role. So he would kind of flaunt a little bit, he would show some shit off, like his family would show shit off. When it came to El Mencho, he learned from that and he really tried to make sure no one could find him. So there's only a few pictures of this guy ever really on record. And that was by design. He tried to stay out the way. When they actually caught him, the place they caught him at was not some luxurious, 50-acre, 50 rooms mansion. He was in a modest community, in a modest place, but not because he didn't make money, but because he wanted to be obscure. At his height, they're claiming that he was making around $60 million a day. $60 million. Comparing him to El Chapo kind of started embracing this narco traficante or drug cartel kingpin label that the world was giving him, especially when it came from Mexico. Because when we think about Vegas, we think about, okay, we got Pablo Escobar. That's why Narcos was Pablo Escobar, then it was El Chapo, pretty much, right? El Chapo made the Forbes list at one time. They listed him as this is a different list. They had him number 67 as the most powerful people, but he also was listed on the Forbes list at 102. 102 or 103. Now, I don't want to get into some of the weeds of it. Just take my word. You guys could also Google these things. No, he was 701. I'm sorry. 701. I apologize. So he was listed as a 701 richest person in the world. What that did was put a bullseye on him. How's the 701st richest person in the world? He was listed at the time having $1 billion fortune. How is he a killer, a drug dealer, and running a criminal organization? That increased a lot of political pressure all around the world that they had to get him. But I want to run through some interesting things about Mencho real quick. So at his peak, he's making around $60 million a day, right? Ever since he got killed, there's been so much bullshit that happened. For example, one of his underlings, a lieutenant named El Tuli, they put out an open bounty for the assassination or, the hit or the killing of any National Guards, which is, as you know, government soldiers, for 20 pesos. 20K pesos, actually. So his financial operator, El Tuli, says, all right, check this out. We'll give you 1,000. We'll give you 20 pesos for all the gunmen killed when it comes to the National Guard. Now, 20K pesos is about close to $1,000. Just to show you how cheap life is in Mexico. It's really nothing. Okay? El Tuli, which people, again, he was under the branch of the tree of El Mencho. He was shortly killed afterwards. By the way, they're saying that 25 National Guards were actually killed. So, in people trying to cash in for the $1,000, just to show you how life is cheap, they kill El Mencho. They say, yo, we're paying 20K pesos, or about $1,000 for every soldier killed. They killed 25 National Guard members. Okay. El Tuli actually got killed. Okay. They're saying a paratrooper rifle brigade tracked El Tuli down and they killed him in a shootout. Okay. They caught him in $1.4 million. That's another thing that's interesting about these cartels. Usually when they move around, they have $1 million cash on them. Why? It's usually good for bribe money, right? You get caught and you tell somebody, yo, I got 500K right here. Just take the bread. Let me go. Say you didn't catch me. Whatever. Y'all go divvy up the bread. It works a lot. It works in Colombia. It works in Venezuela. It works in goddamn Mexico. Okay? So these guys move around a lot of money. So they kill this El Tuli guy who put the hit out saying, we need blood for Mencho. They killed 25 National Guards, but he gets killed shortly after, and they seize a bunch of firearms around him and $1.4 million in mixed U.S. and Mexican currency. Interesting. Right? Now, the reason why most of this stuff is so intriguing to people, because I think if you've watched Narcos or anything about, you've heard about drug trafficking, it seems like some movie shit, right? Seems like someone has a really good imagination, except when you realize it's fucking real. So, quickly, and I'll try to go as quick as possible. So, El Mencho starts out, he's born in Mexico. He moves over here to the United States, and he become a undocumented illegal immigrant, right? He's just kind of staying over here. He's in pursuit of money. Eventually, he starts getting into selling drugs. And essentially, one of the things that kind of shows, and this is like a notable thing about him, he's seen as special because he kind of has the gift of the gab of understanding street politics and street life. Okay? Now, hold on, sir. Now, he gets caught for drug dealing. He gets deported, but just like, it's like American 2025. You get caught, sent over the border, hop the fence, come right back over. Who gives a fuck? Come on, man. Let's go, man. Man, this is open borders. Who gives a fuck? So he comes back over. And at one point, his brother is about to do a drug deal. And while his brother is about to do a drug deal, he accompanies his brother to do a drug deal. And he's the muscle. He's like, kind of security because he's kind of been doing this for a while, but his brother got the plug. it's kind of noted that when that happens, this kind of highlights the gift of the gab right here, okay? His older brother went to a bar to meet some guy for a heroin deal. It was 5 ounces for $9,500. He was 26. He tagged as a lookout, all right? Now, even though he was a younger brother, he was savvy enough to realize that the buyers came with like really neat bills that look like they just came from the treasury. You feel me? Like, you ain't come with drug dealer money. You came from some shit that came from the U.S. Treasury, nigga. So he warned his brother, yo, hey, let's not do this. Them niggas got to be the feds. No drug dealer money's that neat. He was smart. Now, he still got caught. Those conversations and subsequent conversations were caught on a wiretap, and he was arrested. He got deported again. Might be the last time he was in the United States selling drugs. He might have came back one more time. However, the point is that El Mencho goes back to Mexico and the dude becomes a cop. Like, of course you're qualified to be a cop. You just got caught for drugs twice in America and deported. You're the perfect person to be a cop, right? So he's a cop in Mexico. Now, this guy doesn't really want to do a job. Like most drug dealers. Like, come on, bro. Like, yo, cops in like Mexico is getting paid $30 for the day. Straight up. Straight up. Okay? So eventually, he kind of used that, gets a little crooked like most cops are in Mexico. And he's starting to do some other shit. Okay? Now he gets into some, distributing and selling drugs there, and he kind of like gets into these organizations. And that's where, for the people who do care about this cartel war, whatever, and you guys are still a bit confused, hopefully, and if you guys do watch this in post, if I did a good job, please let me know. I did put some research in this for y'all. So y'all let me know if this gives you a good understanding. Because a lot of times, like, you're just hearing too much and it's an overload. Like, we don't care that much. We just want to get the understanding. It's like Chicago, right? It's like, nigga, we don't need to know every motherfucker, but like, give us the main things. BDs, GDs, they don't vote with each other. 63rd O Block. We got Lamb Rondo. Like, we need to know the main shit, the main figures, and that's how we could understand it. So that's what I'm trying to give y'all. So cool. So this guy's now a cop. Okay. He's not really interested in being a cop. He want to get to the bread. Now, I got to give you a quick geography. All right? This is a quick geography. Like, imagine, this is a crash course. You know, I did a war in Iraq, and everybody's like, oh my God. If I did a war in Mexico, I'd be the biggest thing. Well, first of all, there'd probably be 15 cartels on my door. But still, I'm going to make it all make sense to you. So let's go like this. Map of Mexico. Let's get to the map of Mexico. Bingo. We're here. We're here. We're here, chat. Okay? Now, there's a shit ton of cartels in Mexico, okay? But I'm going to make it simple for y'all, right? You see this little line right here? Clearly, that's a border. USA, Mexico. USA, Mexico. Here the border. All right. Let me tell you I'm going to give you the lay of the land. It's just like Chicago, except it's a fucking country. It's all ran by drug dealing. There ain't nothing good going on in Mexico but Cancun, Tulum, you know what I mean? And some fucking cartels. Straight up. Let's keep it a beat. Okay. So the main factions actually end up being, and this is all you need to know, right? This is all you need to know. 1 second. Where is it? Okay, cool. So this is all you need to know. And I'm going to show you on the map that's going to make everything kind of make sense to y'all, because trust me, I was confused too. So one of the oldest cartels is going to be called the Gulf Cartel. And obviously, you know, Trump named this shit. Look, it says Gulf of America. It used to be called Gulf of Mexico, right? Now, just to let you know, so one of the oldest cartels is the Gulf Cartel. The places they run is obviously the Gulf, okay? Tampico. You keep going up. All right, so remember, this is San Antonio right here. And then they run Reynosa and morose. Okay, so like that's kind of like their basis, damn near. We're being simple here, but trust me. So they run right around here, right around here, and they also run down here. Okay, so that's the Gulf Cartel. They've been operating, one of the oldest cartels, like really in Mexico, but they've been operating for a long time. The others are kind of self-explanatory, right? There's something called the Tijuana cartel. Now, that's obvious. The Tijuana is right here by San Diego. That's a cartel as well. Why is that important? Remember, the places cartels care about most is right where the border is to the United States. So Tijuana, San Diego, Gulf, they're over here by goddamn Texas. Okay? Pretty easy. Now, the niggas who we know, they come from down here. Sinaloa. That's the El Chapos of the world. Okay? Right here. El Chapo. Right here. Now, just looking at it on a territorial aspect, right? And I've only just said, I've only showed y'all a few. If you're a gang, and we're calling them a gang, even though they're way more than gang, they're a cartel because they're about money. They're not just about throwing up gang signs like Lil Baby and them 4PF niggas. They're actually about making bread with their gang shit, right? So the Gulf cartel's making some money. The Tijuana cartel making some money. And then they pop up here because what happens is this main inland here, you got to get the drugs all the way to the other side, right? There's more U.S. patrol and border shit right here. So some of these places become important. Also, as you zoom in, Mexico City, where we get to Mexico City, Mexico City is right here. So Mexico City is also important. Why? Mexico is like most countries, even the United States. Not every place is developed. So that's why we're showing you some of these places. It's not like the rest of some of these places not developed. Okay. So we got Gulf Cartel over here, Tijuana over here, then we got Sinaloa over here. Now, here's the lore. This is the lore to having you understand everything, right? So, hold on. Okay. So basically, the Gulf Cartel is rocking out. And when you're selling drugs, you got to avoid law enforcement, this and third. But eventually, other people who got no morals is going to say, nigga, we want what you have. So what ended up happening is that the Gulf Cartel basically was beefing with rival groups, and they needed some muscle. They needed muscle, right? So remember, they got this whole Gulf right here. They're cooking. They flooding San Antonio with drugs. They're cooking. But they start getting and beefing with a lot of people who want to take over their spot. Okay? So what they do is they get a military arm. They basically need some protection. They need security. So there was some people who got like disbanded or like, you know, because all of these people are taking money, right? Like they're all taking money. So the whole shit is corrupted. So some of the people who got kicked out of the military for corruption, some of those generals and shit like that, people realize they've been working with the cartel the whole time. They go to them for protection. They're saying, yo, we just need some protection. We can pay you, blah, blah, blah. And what ends up happening is they get these guys, and these guys are called Los Zetas, right? So now the Gulf Cartel gets these people called Los Zetas. And they're like, it's Mexico never seen no shit like this. Remember, it's fucking Mexico, bro. These got machetes and shit. Like, we're not talking about like, this ain't the USA, motherfucker, right? So now they get former military people, and they're trying to do military shit. So what does that mean? They fuck everybody up. because they're coming in with big guns. They're doing all type of shit. They're doing paramilitary style. They're called Los Zetas. So they're fucking everybody up. I bet. Now, while all that's happening, remember I told you, we got Los Zetas over here. Right here, we got Tijuana. And I know I said we got Sinaloa right here. But before we get to Sinaloa, and if you watch Narcos, you should know this, there's something called Guadalajara cartel. And essentially, it's like they're trying to run this middle region right here, right? So this middle region they're trying to run, right? So everywhere from Mexico City, Sinaloa, Michoacan, down to, obviously they're not going to be in the capital doing too much crazy shit because you're looking fucking stupid. Is Mexico City the capital? Well, it's just a big city. I don't know. It probably is the capital. Anyway, so they're running this shit. Eventually, I think the people who are running it either dies or somebody get extradited. Some shit happens. The Guadalajara cartel splits apart. This is where you can see in Narcos, El Chapo starts up Sinaloa cartel with his people. But there's some other cartels, okay? Some other cartels that kind of go into space. Now, watch this place called Jalisco, because that's where we're going to talk about Mencho later. Mencho is not a thing yet. And Michoacan is a really interesting place. Now, again, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. Remember I told you the Gulf got a bunch of like army niggas that's ready to kill everybody. Now, I want to tell you how ruthless they are. They changed the whole cartel scene because Los Zetas, who works with the Gulf cartel, that was their muscle, they would behead people, hang them from a bridge. They would cut shit off, send it to niggas. They start doing the brutal shit to send messages. So they would fucking have a video where they're shooting a nigga dead. Like they wanted to shock people into being scared of them and not fucking with them. Okay? So bet. So not only now they're ruling the Gulf with an iron fist, like any drug dealer, if you're making $1 billion, you want to make two. So now they're saying, yo, we need to expand, man. Fuck all them other cards. We need to expand. Now what ends up happening is that they start to move from the Gulf, which is on the right, and they start to kind of push towards where, remember I told you, look, we're like, all of this is like Guadalajara territory right here. So they start to push down here close to what's called Michoacan, right? Right here. Oh, make sure you can see it. Sorry. They want to get these people. Okay? So they're trying to just expand. Guadalajara gets like kind of separated. Because of that separation, Sinaloa starts up. That's El Chapo. But because anytime a drug dealer dies or gets arrested, people see blood in the water. So the Gulf cartel, who's crazy as fuck, they're killing people, they want to start expanding, get to Michoacan. Remember, these are places with more density, more, routes they could use to get shit to America. Sinaloa, they can't fuck with them. Straight up can't fuck with them. So now they're watching as the Gulf cartel, who got these killers, who they're chopping niggas' fingers off. They're showing videos of niggas bleeding out from their neck. They're going crazy. Sinaloa and some other people from that kind of, from that Guadalajara area, they come up with a group. Okay? And the group is to fight off the Los Zeta niggas because they're doing too much. They're fucking doing too much. By the way, they started doing so much that they even split from the Gulf cartel because they said the Gulf cartel niggas was a bunch of bums. Remember, they're military niggas, so they're well trained, they're really disciplined, they're on point. They said that the Gulf cartel, all they were doing is getting their dick sucked all day. They were tricking, they were snorting the drugs, or they were taking the drugs that they were making. They were saying that basically the Gulf cartel niggas aren't the right niggas to tell them when they're the ones putting in work. Imagine the muscle telling the kingpin, man, you can't tell me what to do no more. I run this. So that's what these Los Zetas niggas was. So what happened is they start to come over here to bully the scene. what happened is that they create like this new thing, like this is Sinaloa and these people like response. They create something called La Resistance, which they're trying to resist the Los Zetas niggas, okay? Now, the thing with Los Zetas, they never fucked with Sinaloa from the get-go. They never acknowledged Sinaloa cartel as a thing. They used to just call them bums. Like, these are bum-ass niggas. They treated them like Ruri and Millie Ball. I'm going to keep it a bean. That's how the Los Zetas was doing it. Like, yo, you want us to acknowledge them? Nah, they ain't on shit, right? So they're getting bullied. So they created or they teamed up and they did what's called La Resistance, right? And what happens there is that their main goal was just to make sure the niggas running shit over here don't come run shit over here. Michoacan is the place where a lot of the bullshit starts to happen, okay? Now, again, I told you, I'm making this, all this information is pertinent, but it makes you understand the lay of the land. Eventually, they do resist Los Zetas from taking everything over, okay? They got to get on some of the same timing. If they're down to chop niggas head off on camera, you got to chop a nigga head off. You got to show them if you're op down to do A, B, and C, you got to show your op you down to do A, B, C, D, and E, F, and G. Like, you got to let them know. So they get kind of really ruthless. Okay? Now, after that happens, there's an interesting thing that causes some dissension. And by the way, the first dissension over here was that this guy got locked up. So that's the Gulf Cartel's kind of like their army wing was Los Zetas. The guy who ran Gulf Cartel got locked up. Los Zetas says, all right, we want one of our niggas to run this shit. They're like, nigga, y'all the shooters. How the fuck the shooters gonna run this shit? They're like, well, y'all are tricks. Like, fuck out of here. So they separated. Los Zetas, at that point, they're making a lot of money. They're doing their thing. They're trying to take other shit over. These niggas are getting bullied over by, Sinaloa. They come up with the resistance or La Resistance or whatever. And then through that, they also separate again. That separation goes into, I believe, one thing that's called the Millennial Cartel. And the other thing that we now know is Jalisco Cartel Nueva Generación, which is CJNG. And that's what El Mencho comes from. So that's how El Mencho got his start. So El Mencho was kind of fucking with these Sinaloa niggas until he didn't. Remember, just look at the lay of the land. Sinaloa is here. Jalisco is here. It'll give you, everything makes sense. Guadalajara is the bigger region, right? So Sinaloa up top, Jalisco here. So they work together to make sure these niggas don't take it over. Then they split. Okay. Now, this is where like the majority of the interesting shit comes in. And by the way, there's some other shit like there's my Spanish is bad. La Familia de Michoacan. That's where the Gulf was trying to fuck with to, get in that area because these niggas here, their city was just taken over by, Sinaloa. And the people there, they were all poor. They're not getting no money, but you're seeing drug dealers take over your city. So they wanted to be mercenaries. They're like, yo, we want to get the drug dealers out of here. And another drug dealer came and said, how about we empower y'all? Like, drugs gonna run this shit. How about we just collaborate with y'all? We get them out of here and y'all could be the drug dealers. So there's a Michoacan family, but you don't need to get that deep into it. Okay. So cool. Based in Jalisco, we get this guy, El Mencho. He creates CJNG. Okay? And this is where I'm going to try to speed run through a lot of things. So, I told you his savviness already from being street smart. He stopped his brother from fucking, doing drugs with some feds in America. But what ends up happening, and if you're wondering, remember I always tell you it's politics as usual? The big thing why El Mencho is dead is this. Is this woman right here. Okay? Her name is Claudia Scheinbaum. Let me explain to you how politics works in Mexico. So in Mexico, you know, in America, we have one person could be a president twice for 4 years. In Mexico, it's single term. Why? They had a nigga that served 30 years one time. So somebody served 30 years and they realized how bad it was for the country because that's basically dictatorship. They put in their constitution, I believe in like 1917, it was really early, that a president could serve only a single term, and that term could only be, the term is 6 years. Now, what happened is, in 2024, Shorty comes into power. So she's getting her 6-year run. So she got till 2030. And basically, in the first year and a half, she's got Mencho. Now, you might be like, damn, if she's Mencho up. Now, granted, most politicians are in the pockets of drug dealers, whether they want to or not. It's just a lay of the land. But she's a little bit different. I'm going to give you a couple reasons. Number one, the former presidents of Mexico, his name was Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. Okay? This guy. He ruled from 2018 to 2024. Okay? He ruled from 2018 to 2024. Now, why is he special? Because I said that it's the woman who took over for him why Mencho is dead. This guy had a philosophy. His slogan when he got into to being president, they were so scared of the goddamn cartels. His name was, this was his slogan. Hugs, no slugs. Abrazos, no balazos. Which means hugs, no slugs. Hugs, no bullets. Imagine telling cartels, hey, we want to give y'all a hug, not kill y'all. Oh, it's lit. Oh, it's movie time. Hey, where's it at?
Oh, it's movie time.
It's movie time. So, when that was what he came and said, what? It's lit. Now, the cartel pretty much realized, they realized this nigga is pussy. Straight up. They started doing the most shit. I'll give you an example. We've talked about this before. Remember I told you El Chapo's son who got captured and they killed so many people they let the nigga go? Who y'all think or authorized him to be let go? Let's just Google their name together. Mr. Hug No Slugs and Ovidio Guzman. Let's Google their name together. Look. He defended the release, justifying the decision, saying he needed to protect innocent lives. He said, look, in 2020, he said he ordered the release. The president. What? Mr. Hug No Slugs? What? If I'm in a cartel, this is lit. Yeah, this is lit. We just got to murder a couple niggas and they going to let us back out? These niggas is bitches, straight up. So he defended him. He says he ordered the release. What a great president. What a great president. He let the drug dealer back out. Y'all killed too many people today. I'm gonna take him back. Take him back. Take him back. Take him back. What? Okay. Now, when he gets out of presidency, she comes in and she says that shit is over. I'm done with that shit. Ain't no hugs, no slugs. Fuck that. Now, granted, there's a whole political story behind this. I won't get to it. I want to stay focused on El Mencho that y'all can understand. Remember, I told you she's El Mencho's op. You don't believe me? I'll show you. So, Miss Claudia Scheinbaum Pardo, okay? She took presidency in 2024. But we're going to go back 4 years before that. In 2020, she was the mayor of Mexico City. Let's just look. I want to show y'all that, I know I'm not making shit up. Okay. Here's her campaign for head of government. Okay. And so she's the head of government for Mexico City from 2018 to 2023. Why does that matter? Remember this good old map I told you? Where's Jalisco? Right here. Where's Mexico City? Right here. Where's Sinaloa? Right here. Bet. What ends up happening when she's mayor, and this is why I say she's El Mencho's op, is that her minister of security, his name is Omar Garcia Harfuch. In 2020, El Mencho tries to kill him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, currently, this guy, by the way, he didn't die. He's now the head of, he's the ministry or head of security or whatever. I forgot the title, but it's, what is it title? Let me make sure I got it right. He's the, what? He's the Secretary of Security for the whole country now. Why? The woman, Claudia Scheinbaum, he was head of security for her, or Ministry of Security, whatever, in Mexico City. So when she gets president, he's the head of security now for the whole country. Back in 2020, El Mencho tried to kill a nigga. He caught two hot ones, straight up. This was his vehicle. This was the vehicle when El Mencho sent his homies to go, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you understand why they don't like El Mencho that much. El Mencho had his homies put two hot ones in this nigga. He survived. He survived. This is how the car looked. They Swiss cheese that bitch. He survived. 6 years ago, they tried to assassinate him. Back then, when the assassination happened but failed, he survived. He took 2 bullets. He went to the hospital. And on the hospital bed, he tweeted out. He said, yo, it's El Mencho's organization that tried to kill me. It was CJNG. That's what he said. So now that he survived that, and he's now ministry or whatever, head of, or secretary of security for the whole country, you think he cool with El Mencho trying to clap him 6 years ago, or he probably on his ass? You answer that question. But nevertheless, that's not the only thing El Mencho has done, supposedly, that has made people realize that he's a demon. So this guy wants him out of here. Years before, in 2015, when he was starting to take power, this is after El Chapo was either on the run, just escaped, or he just got indicted and extradited. Sinaloa is looking a little bit unfamiliar. CJNG is starting to boom. They're popping now. They lit. They all over here with it. Tijuana cartel got a bunch of arrests, so they ain't on shit neither. So really, CJNG is popping. Los Zetas, they kind of got him out of the way for a bit. Right now is El Mencho's time. The government starts to say, hey, we got to do something about this. They try to lock up, or try to do some operations against CJNG. In 2015, CJNG gave belt to ass to the Mexican government, the military, and everybody else. They showed that they're on the type of timing you don't want to fuck with. This is why when they were showing off the tank, it's for a reason. The first thing they did, one time, El Mencho and them like driving in some like long ass, back to back to back. They're in a fucking helicopter. They're telling them to pull over. Them niggas popped out the window with an RPG, shot the helicopter. It was a military helicopter. Shot it down. Real nigga shit, man. The military and government in Mexico took note of this. They have never gotten a military plane shot down by some cartel niggas. We usually think about cartel niggas like some niggas in the woods, man. Like some niggas like in the forest. These niggas, remember, this was the wing that was militant, that was supposed to fight with the Zetas who were army niggas. So they got some army shit. So they shot down a helicopter. They ain't stopped there. They started teaching the government, and this is why the next president, remember I told you, so this is 2015. So the next president, he wins presidency on some, we're not going to do no more violence. We're just going to, because they're getting belt. So remember the guy who came in with hugs, no slugs? Yeah, you ain't had no choice, nigga. So in 2015, these are some of the things that happened. First and foremost, they kill like, I don't know, what was it, 15 cops. Straight up. Like, they're not playing around. So they ambushed 15 cops in Jalisco, murdered all of them. Straight up. They dead. Right? They attacked some government spot. They're attacking the military. The cartel attacking the military. Then there's a helicopter attack which got people to say, wait, what the fuck? Look at this fucking helicopter right here. This is a fucking like damn near Black Hawk helicopter. They flew over the convoy where they thought that there was some CJNG people rolling in. Them niggas popped out the window with an RPG, shot the bitch down. Basically, as the story goes, okay? As the story goes, just to kind of, again, I am trying to speed it up, but I want y'all to really understand how wild this nigga was. Essentially, I think there was like 12 people on the helicopter. Everybody died, one lived. So these are all military people. Killed all of them. These cartels, they don't time it. Ironically, and this is the thing about when you're these cartel niggas and you have to do all this murder. Ironically, the only surviving person from the helicopter attack was a nigga named Ivan Morales Corrales. He's the only one who survived the helicopter blowing up. Everybody else died. He suffered burns to 70% of his body. Okay? And they claimed it was a miracle that he survived. He got gifted a medal in Mexico for his bravery. I don't mention him for no reason. Years later, he showed up in the United States and testified against El Mencho's son, who we're going to get to. And he described everything. And yes, El Mencho's son was about that life too. Menchito, we're going to get to him. After he testified against El Mencho's son like 2-3 years ago, it was reported last year, him and his wife got clapped. So he survived a helicopter crash. Then he came to America, testified against El Mencho's son. The Mexican agent who survived the cartel attack that downed the helicopter, he got murdered with his wife. He testified against El Menchito. You see why you got the YSL Woodies, you got all these other niggas, like telling is free in the United States. Just let it go. Just tell the truth. You do that in this Mexican cartel world, you're getting clapped. Straight up. Straight up. So a former Mexican police federal agent who survived the helicopter crash in 2015 was killed this week by the same cartel that downed the aircraft. Him and his wife were shot and killed in the municipality of Temexico by a group of gunmen who intercepted their vehicle and opened fire. According to El Diario de Morales, the suspects fired 15 shots on Corrella's van. They told the newspaper the attackers fled immediately afterwards, escaping on motorcycles that were waiting for them. Clapped them. Clapped them, unfortunately. First responders who arrived at the scene said both victims died for gunshot wounds that was taken. Yeah. Well, I got to go on a slight tangent, and I know we're pushing time, but don't worry, we're going to get to everything still. When we're talking about El Mencho, we got to talk about Menchito, which is the son of El Mencho that this guy testified against. Well, you know the apple don't fall far from the tree, and El Menchito, he was like that too. Yes, El Menchito is the thing. So El Menchito, okay, this is him right here. He looked like Barron Trump. He looked like a good boy. He was nothing but even. When he hopped off the porch, metaphorically, his father said, "You gonna join the family business? We all killing niggas. We smuggling drugs. This is what we do." So he rose up the ranks really quickly, being the number 2 of the CJNG cartel. How does he do that? Well, few things. As you would imagine with nepotism, like, it's the Bronny James syndrome, right? Remember I told you about, El Chapo kids, they like Bronny James? He not Bronny James. Let me know if you one of them kids that you like, I got to be greater than my father. That was him. El Menchito. I'll give you an example. He never wanted the soldiers and the killers around him to just respect him because he was his daddy's son. He wanted to show them he liked that too. He eventually got prosecuted in federal court in the United States. He did get extradited. But before then, and we found all this out at trial, when he was coming up, it was testified in his trial that in front of the gang, he had 4 or 5 niggas hogtied for owing money. Okay? For owing money to CJNG, and he sliced all of their throats. He cut their throats. They owed him money. He slashed all their throats with a knife. He was bloody as hell because he let them bleed out right there. His men was watching. He got to show them he not Bronny James. He a killer too. Straight up. Ask Spoo Shiesty. Word up. He murdered all 5 of them. And then he asked his men, he said, "Give me a clean shirt." Demon. He's his daddy's son. For real, for real. They accuse him of sanctioning and ordering over 100 murders as well. Just like his daddy. It was into violence. He loved it. Okay? There's a little bit more intrigue with him that kind of tells you how powerful CJNG is. And this is why I bring it up. So little Menchito here, right? This is how powerful and how corrupt Mexico is. So he gets arrested like 3 times by Mexican authorities. And he just gets out like it's nothing. Like he gets out like it's a parking ticket or, suspended license. Essentially, they were trying to do a crackdown on CJNG because they're wilding out too much. They start doing wiretaps. They intercept some calls, some phone booths and shit like that. And they find out that there's somebody who is important that's calling the shots because they were moving like the wire. They would have like, certain phones only for certain times. Like they would have certain windows and the cops figured it out. And one time they intercepted something and they're like, all right, we know there's somebody important, but there's definitely cartel stuff going on here. The person who they kind of intercepted some of the communication was associated with this guy. Now, remember, he's his daddy's son. When they went in for they did the raid, the dude was like, caught off guard. They catch him running out the spot. They catch him later, like they basically catch him. And they arrest him. And when they arrest him, apparently at his arrest, first of all, they found a bunch of guns. We'll talk about it. But he tells the cops, he says, yo, and this is why they have money. He tells them, if y'all let me go right now, there's $500,000 here. Y'all could just take it. Take the $500,000. Let me go. Right? And this is the reason why the U.S. only works with certain groups in Mexico because most of them are corrupt. Like $500,000 when you're getting paid like $30 a day. Like, yo, you're out of here, man. Peace, nigga. I'll catch you later. Chunk the deuces. But there are certain people that's uncorruptible. So, he actually got arrested. They arrested the motherfucker, and they instantly bring him to this place called Altiplano, which this is how much of a joke Mexico is. I ain't gonna lie to you. Altiplano Federal Prison. Now, this, if you don't know, and everything's gonna make sense to y'all, chat, because I'm gonna connect a whole bunch of dots. This prison right here in Mexico is the prison that they call the maximum security prison in Mexico. This is the toughest prison. Yeah, it's the one that El Chapo got out of. Like, come on. Like, it's Mexico, nigga, the fuck? So it's like, yo, this shit is like cakewalk. Like, yo, El Chapo got it. That's the one he just walked out in the bathroom. Like, yo, that's their maximum. Their maximum, look, El Chapo is their maximum security prison, right? Like, yo, look, this is their max security prison, nigga. Bro, this nigga got his phone on the, yo, I'm out of here, nigga. Like, I'll catch y'all niggas later. Matter of fact, yo, did I leave it under here? I'm out of here. Peace. Nigga dipped straight up out of there. Yes, that's this prison here, their maximum security prison. So anyway, they brought homeboy there. And I ain't gonna lie to you, Mexico's so fire, he ain't even had to escape. This is crazy. Yo, when they caught the nigga, they caught him with $1.5 million in currency. They caught him with all type of guns. They caught him with everything red-handed. Bruv, one of the guns, like 2 of the guns they caught him with, it actually just said, remember, this was a whole thing to try to crack down on the gang, because the whole gang is killing people. One of the guns they caught him with said CJNG number 2, because, sorry, he's a number 2 guy to his father. So the gun literally says it, like it's engraved. And then the other gun is like this, like Gucci Glock. It's like, gold, whatever. It literally says El Menchito. El Menchito. It just says it. So they locked him up for that. They put him in a maximum security prison. Check this out, chat. They went to court. The judge says, yo, y'all ain't got no reason to lock the nigga up. What the fuck? They released him. No cap. They just let the nigga go. They're like, what? What the fuck y'all lock him up for? Let him go. Let him go. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just let that nigga go. Straight up. They try to put another case on him. Right when he walking out the door. So he about to be like, yo, demon home. They put cuffs on him again. They got another case. Remember, he's been killing niggas. Like, he's been really putting knives to, like, he's a killer. They said, oh, we got another case. He sit for like 2 weeks. He probably eating the honey buns. He probably ordering some nice taco. Like, he got his shit lit in there. He go in front of a court again. The court says, why y'all keep locking him up? Let him out. He dips again. Poorly. It takes a year. They catch El Menchito again. Same situation. Nigga got mad bread on him. He still got his guns. His guns got his engraving on it. Like, they're even trying to just charge him with gun crimes. Like, yo, bro, you're not supposed to have this fucking gun. Look, it's his. His name is on it. They lock the nigga up. And when they lock the nigga up, they go in front of another judge. And the other judge says, yo, bruv, why y'all lock him up? Nigga ain't do nothing wrong. It's El Menchito. Let him out. Word up. I kid you not. Word. Let him out. Now, it's funny. When he gets let out, they handcuff him again because they're really trying to keep the nigga. But the judges keep saying, why y'all keep locking him up? That's how corrupt. That's the judicial system saying there's no reason to lock him up. They lock him up for another thing with some disappearance of some people. And he gets held for a little bit longer until the extradition comes down. And that's when he comes to the United States. He's cooked. We all know you come to the United States, you're not going back. Here's the funny part about it, though. When he gets locked up the second time, this is him. Okay? Now, you might say, damn, who the fuck punched you in your nose? Well, apparently, what these guys do a lot, they fake their death and they do plastic surgery to change their appearance. So this nigga got a nose job. And the nose job supposedly was to try to help alter his appearance that hopefully he could evade law enforcement later on. Now, to me, it's kind of stupid because why change your appearance and get a nose job if you're going to have El Menchito on all your guns? Don't make no sense. But that's why his nose is bandaged. They're saying he had a nose job recently. Now, he ends up getting extradited, and this is where I fill in some of the story with the family, and then we'll get to how Mencho got caught, because everything is a little bit interconnected. So he gets extradited, right? And remember I told you he got this nose job? Well, this is how and give me one second. This is how. Wait, hold on. Where the fuck is it? Is it this? Oh, yeah. This is how it works when it comes to like the family tree of El Mencho. So Menchito, who was really about that life, he was cutting people's throats. They catch him again. He did get released like for the third time, but they handcuffed him while he walking out the door, and then they held him for some Michoacan shit till he got brought to the United States. The United States just cooked him, right? They were trying to fight that extradition, but it didn't work. Interesting stories about that, but I won't get into it. So what ends up happening is his sister shows up because, I don't know if you know, this nigga's a United States citizen. So what these drug dealers do is they fuck their bitch in Mexico and send a chick to United States to have the kid. So the kid's now a United States resident. Why? That fucking United States passport just means a lot. So this kid is actually a United States resident. He was born in United States. Well, he has a sister, and his sister was born in the United States as well. Now, his sister got arrested when she came to court. Okay? So she went to court. Um, and when she went to court, she basically got arrested at the same time because there was a outstanding warrant. So she was arrested in February 2020. She came to attend her brother's criminal hearing. She basically got arrested, and she crossed the border illegally because she's a United States resident, and she faced mad counts of engaging in transactions or dealings in the properties of designated foreign person. Okay, basically, there's something called the Kingpin Act, which means that they could identify certain organizations as kind of like criminal, and if you do business with them, you violate it. So she was doing transactions, obviously, for her family, and they were already on a list. So they couldn't get her as a drug dealer, so they gave her this, violating the Kingpin Act, and they gave her like, I think it was like 30 months. Yeah, she served 30 months. Okay, so she served 30 months. El Mencho brother faked his death. It's like a whole bunch of bullshit. Okay, let me see. Everything's gonna just show the current shit. Anyway, the point is this.
So, NBA Youngboy has 12 kids and he has 2 more on the way. I ain't gonna lie, gang. YB, he's making his own team. You feel me? 12 kids, probably like 10 BMs, 11 BMs. Like, that's what he's supposed to do. Like, Malu Trevejo said that she was pregnant at one point. Another girl said that she was pregnant. Like, YB is just putting a baby in all these women, bro. And I will never forget the interview. He said that he doesn't really care about being a father. He just likes to, you feel me? Yeah. But let me know how you guys feel about all of this. Do you think NBA Youngboy will pass 20 kids by the end of 2025? Or will he do it in 2026? Because we know he's about to have like 4 or 5 kids a year minimum. So we will see.